Part 2. Knuckling Ben.
You will find either that the statement they've made about what things can and can't be known categorizes itself, the statement they've made, as being unknowable, or else they've created an exception, which is a case of special pleading, usually a trivially obvious one, with no justifiable reason to make that exception to their rule and not make any others. Remember, if other exceptions not included in their rule are even possible as being knowledge, then this shows that their rule is not doing what it claims to do in giving a complete, exclusive account of knowledge.
You cannot know anything other than that you can know nothing. What about something like that? I can know that I know nothing other than the fact that I know this, but everything else I can't really know. So that is a full account of all knowledge contained within that little paradox of a sentence. So unravel that one there, Ben. You won't be able to do it, because it's the whole point of that particular type of sentence. Here's another one. The only truth is this sentence, or other than this sentence, nothing is true. Now, the latter one you might say is special pleading, but the first one, there's nothing you can do with it because it makes an account of all knowledge. So your argument falls apart. Every definition that I looked at, and every article I poked at about skepticism and philosophical skepticism seems to say the same thing. It's about doubt, critical thinking, critical analysis, about questioning things. Some say it's not really about doubt, but it's more about investigating. So there's a different way of looking at it depending on what you look at and what you read and who you're reading. But I haven't found a single case that says it's about saying that the only thing that's true is X. Maybe the only thing that we can know for sure is that we exist, or that I exist. And everything else is put at a lower level somewhere. I don't want to quantify it with percentages, but it's like, okay, I exist at 100%, and the fact that I'm human, maybe that's 99.99% sure about that, and then that mine exists outside of my own, maybe it's another 0.1% less, and, you know, I could go on down all the a priorities, and they're only 1.1% less than the last one. That my cognitive faculties are working reasonably well, and that my ability to interact and see and hear and experience the world is at least enough for me to continue my own survival. But whether or not it's good at knowing what reality is really about or not is something that's more questionable. So there again comes in the methodology and tools of science. But that's, of course, scientism. We can't have that, even though it's not scientism, but okay, whatever. See, Ben's whole thing rests upon the straw man, which he didn't give any citation for, didn't say, here's where I got this idea from, or anything like that. So I'm going to say that his idea of what skepticism is a straw man, unless and until he produces something that shows that. I don't think he would be able to, unless he got it from some apologetic website, which is all he's really doing is apologetics.
However, most of the popular versions of skepticism are not sophisticated enough to have even made an exception for themselves. Most of them are simply self-refuting. This technique doesn't seem to have been given a proper name, but I'd call it the self-classification problem. This is a very powerful argument because it definitively refutes the skeptics without introducing any external premises that could potentially be contested, relying on reason and the skeptic's own premises alone, and there is nothing new about it. It is as old as philosophy itself. If it were up to me, we'd be teaching this trick to children in school. First, as an easy example, let's apply this to the dumbest form of skepticism known to man, as made famous by Ass in Screed. Quote, "Nothing is true," unquote.
Hey, I just said that a while back, except I made mine better because I said, except for the sentence, nothing is true. So, eat that, whoever that was that said that originally.
If nothing is true, then it is not true that nothing is true. But if the statement, "it is not true that nothing is true," is true and is something, then something is true. But if something is true, then the statement that nothing is true is not true.
Oh man, I love paradoxes because there's no way out of them. Here's one, my nose will grow now. So Pinocchio, if he lies, his nose grows. And his nose doesn't grow under any other conditions. So if he's lying, then his nose will grow. But then, if his nose does grow, then he was telling the truth, which means his nose can't grow. But if he says this, then his nose will now grow, but it won't grow because then he's telling the truth. But if he's telling the truth, then the nose won't grow. But then he's lying. So I mean, oh man, nobody in their right mind or left mind would ever try to dismantle this paradox.
That stupid tree is a little bitty bird, cute as a UPC. Little bitty bird just sitting in the tree. Then you took that chance of yours, cut off its little head.